This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the Queenstown Lakes District Council is grounding expansion for Queenstown and Wanaka's airports. The Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust says today's street appeal in Dunedin is their most successful to date. And Otago University students are answering the call to join a clean-up at Fox Glacier. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. The Queenstown Lakes District Council is applying the brakes to future development of Queenstown and Wanaka's airports for now. Those opposed to the expansion of the airports appear to have won some concessions after more than a year of growing community disquiet.
The clear stress, anxiety, dissent and downright vitriol that this issue is creating in both Queenstown and Wanaka is a genuine concern.
Queenstown Mayor Jim Bolt addresses about 70 people at a public forum about the proposed developments of Queenstown and Wanaka airports. He's calling for a temporary halt to the expansion plans which were to meet projected future growth in the region.
We need to pause on any further expansion to understand the implications of airport growth on our communities and most importantly, the economic and social impacts.
However, the Queenstown Airport Corporation will continue upgrading the Queenstown Airport Terminal and purchase a block of adjoining land. And planning for future domestic air travel at Wanaka's airport will also continue. Mayor Bolt says the pause is for the well-being of the community.
Our intention here is not to cap growth and create a static future, but to protect and strategically plan for the long-term well-being of our community, our precious environment and our economy.
The airport's expansion plans have drawn concerns from some members of the community regarding the environment and social impacts of continued growth in air traffic.
I do think it's spin.
Former councillor Gillian McLeod says simply pausing noise boundaries in Queenstown leaves them open to be expanded at a later date.
The Wakatipu Basin cannot endure any further noise boundary extension, any further emissions and any further traffic generated by the airport.
And with the area already bustling with visitors, she also inquires the need for increasing air traffic.
Surely this expansion is not a necessary requirement of the airport. The airport can continue to make a profit in its present status. It can continue to serve the community and bringing in tourists.
Mayor Bolt says the sustainability goals of the Queenstown Airport Corporation are also to be reviewed. The company is 75% owned by the council. In Wanaka, The South Today.
An out-of-control burn-off covering about 1,000 hectares in South Canterbury's high country has been brought under control. The fire swept through very dry Matagari shrub and grass in a northwesterly wind, leaving charred and smouldering roadsides northeast of Kura. A local farmer called emergency services after a burn-off got out of control about 2:40 p.m. About 50 firefighters as well as helicopters with monsoon buckets had most of the fire under control by yesterday evening. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokesman says no buildings were threatened by the fire. The Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust says today's street appeal in Dunedin is their most successful to date. It's the fourth year the Trust has held an appeal, and organisers believe Life Matters is gaining real traction in the community.
Even giving a little can save lives. The message from Life Matters as more than 160 collectors hit Dunedin streets for this year's Life Matters Suicide Awareness Trust campaign. Trustee Carolyn McMillan says the fourth annual Life Matters Street Appeal is the most well-supported yet, which is a good thing as the Trust doesn't receive government funding.
We don't receive any money, so everything that we get is from donations and grants that we apply for, but that's all. So to run the Hope Centre, to run our bereavement group, our Safe Talk courses, we have to do street appeal days like this.
Corinda Taylor set up Life Matters following the loss of her son to suicide and is pleased with how the organisation is growing 5 years down the track.
Young people like James, young men in particular, it really makes me so happy to see younger people coming through, because it means we can have their input in what needs to be done to prevent suicide. And I'm not that young anymore, so continuation is really important for me at this stage.
James Sutherland says it was a safe place to come when he arrived in Dunedin for study.
Coming down to Dunedin for university, these group of girls are pretty awesome and they just welcomed you with open arms. Yeah.
Sutherland is one of the team coordinating the volunteers on the streets for Life Matters today. Each volunteer has a reason why they're happy to give their time.
Suicide is always close to my heart. I lost a godson through this and various friends over time, and just want to be part of being there so people have, especially at the Hope Centre, that people have got a place to come in and talk to us.
To be able to give back and hopefully make a small difference to potentially save someone's life is really important.
And also very proud to be out here for Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust. And it's something that's very personal to me, so I had to get involved.
Following today's street appeal, the next major event on Life Matters calendar is at Knox Church on World Suicide Prevention Day, September the 10th. If you or you believe someone you know needs help, the organisations listed on the screen are there to help. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Scientists and conservationists are saying yellow-eyed penguins could be extinct from New Zealand's mainland in 10 years, and say the recovery strategy has come far too late. A few years ago, University of Otago zoology researcher Thomas Matten created a model which estimated hoiho would be gone from the mainland by 2060. But he says after 2 extremely poor breeding seasons, the outlook for the endangered penguin is now even more dire. Staff from Dunedin's Penguin Place are backing up his prediction. The government has released a draft recovery strategy along with a 5-year action plan, promising an extra $220,000 over 3 years towards the bird's conservation. Dr. Matten says he still has doubts over the penguin's survival on the mainland, with the next hope being populations on sub-Antarctic islands, which were not exposed to mainland threats such as dogs and set nets. Students from the University of Otago are answering the call to join a final mammoth clean-up near Fox Glacier. The Department of Conservation is making a last-ditch effort with about 200 volunteers this weekend, following a massive landfill spill earlier this year.
All packed up and ready for their 8-hour bus trip to the West Coast. These 72 Otago students are set to join over 100 other volunteers for DOC's last-ditch effort and a massive clean-up operation after a storm in March spread rubbish from an old landfill across miles of riverbed and coastline near Fox Glacier. All the volunteers were filled within a day, and OUSA President James Heath says it's no surprise local students are keen to help.
Otago's actually got a massive culture for volunteering initiatives. The university's got the UniCrew Volunteer Centre, which is constantly sending out students. I think actually this weekend they're going to the St Clair Wetlands as well, to go somewhere more local.
For many, it's not their first time going out and cleaning up other people's mess.
I've done a lot of volunteering in the past. I've done a lot of beach cleanups and work with a group called Sea Cleaners. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Over 800 volunteers have already picked up more than 13,000 sacks of rubbish from the Fox and Cook Rivers and coastline of South Westland, and a mammoth task is at last coming to an end.
I went there through summer, just before the tragedy happened, and I just want to go up, make sure it's beautiful again for all of our people.
With an 8-hour bus trip each way, plus a day's work out in the elements, bending over and digging up plastic waste from river and beach gravel, these students haven't volunteered for a simple task.
They know what they're in for, they've all signed up, they know it's in for 6 or more hours actually of cleaning up rubbish in the West Coast, probably bitterly cold, but no, when they sign up for this, they're all ready for it.
The clean-up was taken over in mid-June by DOC, and Director General Lou Sanson says the effort people have made to travel to South Westland to help has been incredible. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Batten down the hatches and get your winter woolies out as another cold front approaches the South Island. And we take a look at the latest edition of Rugby Chat with Paul Dwyer.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we have a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all, 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Welcome back. Heavy rain and snow are on the way for parts of the south, including Dunedin, over the weekend. The Met Service says a complex low-pressure system is forecast to move on to New Zealand from the Tasman Sea this weekend before moving away early next week. Snow is expected down to 300 to 400 metres across central and southern regions of the South Island. Heavy snow warnings have been issued for North Otago and South Canterbury, while a heavy snow watch is in force for North Canterbury and the remainder of Otago, including Dunedin. The school's rugby season is drawing to a close after its first season in a new format. In the latest edition of Rugby Chat, Paul Dwyer talks with Murray Munro and Craig Cumming about the season and this weekend's games.
Welcome to ODT Rugby Chat, sponsored by Garador. Look, we're going to talk schools rugby today. We're just about at the end of the comp. It seems to go on forever, but we're getting towards the ODT Cup, which I think is being played next week. And just to talk about that today, I've got Murray Munro, the Deputy Chair of Schools Rugby, and I've got Craig Cumming, your job, Director of Sport for Otago Boys, Craig.
Yeah.
Just fit it in amongst all your other jobs.
Absolutely, yeah. Just jumping around. You never know where to turn up, Paul, you know that. I mean, school rugby, and the history shows, especially, you know, I come from Timaru Boys, you go through cycles. And we've got a lot of schools who'll go through cycles. Now, you're going to have some of your stronger schools and looking, you know, your big four maybe in this area. They're going to be strong most of the time. But the others are going to go through cycles. The key is, I suppose, you know, and injuries play a part, and grounds play a part, and travel plays a part. And over the course of the season, we've seen that. But I think what's been good in the last 2 or 3 weeks, the scores have been really good. And I've really liked the fact that they've broken into the top four, middle four, and bottom four, because you're ending the year playing guys that you're the sort of similar size and you've got similar capabilities and you have a good experience.
Lion Foundation Shield is
floating around.
It follows the Ranfurly Shield traditions, and it's a bit of a legacy forming Otago Boys with that at the moment.
And yeah, and you bring in those Waka, didn't First 15 Rugby do that game? They were playing Dunstan,
Yeah. So every year, I mean, you know, they've got a lot more games going on Land Rover First 15 Rugby this year, and they went up there. I think I did a game in Dunstan 2 or 3 years ago against Waitaki Boys.
With this format, they'll still have the opportunity to do
All they have to do is finish first or second out of those bottom six, and bang, they can get through to the top four.
Well, to me, that makes that just makes more sense.
Yeah, well, you know, the key values, if you like, you know, avoiding defaults, avoiding mismatches and associated injuries, and giving everyone a pathway. And this model fits
Certainly does that.
There are some negatives. Some teams' season could be over a bit early.
I see Nelson looks like they're going to get a home final in their pool. Will they get through?
Oh, I'm not sure. Nelson are top. Christchurch Boys are the team that always, and they've got themselves in the top four now. They've got an easy game this weekend. They'll end up second or third, so they'll win whoever they play, whether it's St Bede's, Christ College, or St Andrews. St Andrews are dropping down quickly because they hadn't played any of the top four teams. Nelson will be top. So I believe they'll take on Christchurch Boys in the final, the UC Championship. But I don't see Christchurch Boys.
That won't be a lay down misère.
No, Christchurch Boys just know how to play at that time of the year. I believe whoever wins our competition down here will start favourites
in that game, and that would be here as well.
Yeah, well, is it here?
Yes, it is here.
It is here.
Well, here or in Invercargill. It's in our region.
Right.
But St Andrews have already qualified as the
co-ed. Co-ed, that's right.
So whoever our co-ed champion is
will play there,
that's right.
And they will go up to Christchurch.
That's right.
We've got. I'd favour our team.
Okay, boys, we're running out of time, so let's just talk about the games this week. I know we've already covered it up, but I'll get predictions from you both. So, Craig, Otago Boys, Johnnies.
Otago Boys.
Otago Boys, Johnnies. You'll be picking Johnnies.
Okay.
Good work.
You heard it here first.
Right.
With a bonus
point,
and then there'll have to be a draw down the road.
I tell you what, if you're playing at Littlebourne, I don't see any team with combined teams scoring 4 tries.
And the big game, is it not that good, Littlebourne, at the moment?
No, it's the best it's ever been.
But
you know, it's a little like the middle of University of Otago Oval. You're one shower and one scrum away from it just going whoosker.
So Southland Boys, Kings?
Too close to call.
To draw.
Johnny's needs a draw.
That's right.
I'm picking a draw.
You're both picking a draw.
Yeah.
Right, so there it is. Look, I will go, Otago Boys, they'll win that game comfortably. They'll win 13 plus. And look, I'm going to stick with Southland Boys. These boys are trying to talk me into Kings. I'm just going to go with traditionally stronger school. I'll go with Southland Boys. It should be an Otago Boys, Southland Boys game at Littlebourne the following weekend for the ODT Cup. And we'll talk to you again next week.
After the break on the South today, recent sunny days have attracted monarch butterflies to the Oamaru Public Gardens, and we have the weekend's weather for you, so stay with us.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. For a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we've got a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all, 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Thanks for staying with us. A South Dunedin business is facing an uncertain future as plans for a new community hub continue. Negotiations between the Dunedin City Council and Veggie Boys over its King Edward Street and McAndrew Road premise lease have finished. The council bought the building in March for the proposed South Dunedin Community Hub and Library. Veggie Boys has a long-term lease on the building but has agreed to leave by June 2020. Veggie Boys owner Marty Hayes says he's exhausted after negotiations and is uncertain about the future of his business. The recent mild sunny days have drawn clusters of monarch butterflies to feed on flowers at the Oamaru Public Gardens, to the delight of visitors. Yesterday saw up to 100 monarchs gathering to feed on flowers such as Scottish heather as temperatures climbed to 16 degrees. Monarchs are thought to hang out in trees together in winter to keep warm. On warmer days they surface to look for nectar. A spokesperson from the New Zealand Monarch Butterfly Trust says not many flowers offer nectar at this time of year, and the butterflies will congregate at the few plants suiting their needs. However, with a southeasterly change to rain and cold temperatures forecast for later today, it's unlikely the monarch butterflies will return to the flower shrubs for some time. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The Queenstown Lakes District Council is applying the brakes to future development of Queenstown and Wanaka's airports. The Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust says today's street appeal in Dunedin is their most successful to date, with over 160 volunteers on the streets. And University of Otago students answered the call to join a final mammoth clean-up near Fox Glacier after a landfill spilled its contents in heavy weather. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Phil Somerville.
Yes,
what have you got for us there?
Well, this is a lovely story about two young Dunedin entrepreneurs. tapping into coffee culture instead of heaps of plastic bags, plastic containers full of milk going to cafes. There's an alternative, kegs, sort of like beer kegs but smaller. So look at that. Now, brought this picture through because lots of smiling faces. This will be a great event. Next Tuesday, they're rehearsing today. Next Tuesday, the Otago Secondary School's music festival's on. Tomorrow, of course, is Mixed Day. The main feature's about artificial intelligence, what that'll mean. It could mean all sorts of things to us. Body and soul sections, talking about low T, being used for political reasons. That's testosterone and discussion about the hormone and about how people are using. Intriguing story that I read before. And Chris Christopherson, there's an interview with him. He's coming to Dunedin in October, and I liked a line from it which he said, he doesn't think of songs as hits, he writes them as literature.
Fantastic. He's the original Star is Born star, isn't he?
I think could be.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks. And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weekend's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Today's Southern View is of collectors in Dunedin for Life Matters today. Looking at the situation, a very cold easterly airstream brings widespread snow into inland areas tomorrow and sleety rain on the coast. Wind will be strong and gusty in exposed places, easing on Sunday with the rain and snow clearing. Moving down to Canterbury, Kaikoura should be wet and 11, Christchurch showers and 8, and Ashburton you too have rain and 6. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, snow is set to return tomorrow. Best make sure all animals have shelter, fresh easterlies with snow, 5-degree highs for Balclutha, the Catlins, Lumsden and Gore. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, don't put away the puffer jackets yet. Wanaka plan for gusty northeasterlies, snow and 3. Queenstown light winds, snow later, 3. Alexandria you also get snow and 5. And Tiana you should have fresh easterlies, snow showers and a high of 5 degrees. Looking at the northern towns along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru expect gusty easterlies. Timaru reaches a high of 8 and Oamaru 7. Further inland, Twizel and Amarama you are set for gusty northeasterlies and snow. Twizel reaches 4 and just 3 for you in Amarama. In Dunedin, it will be cloudy and cold tonight with easterlies and an overnight low of 4. Periods of rain tomorrow with snow above 200 metres and strong gusty cold northeasterlies. A high of 5 and the low is 5 as well. And it's rain and snow on Sunday, remaining cloudy with fresh gusty northeasterlies decreasing slowly. A high of just 7 and a low of 4. And moving to Invercargill, rain developing tonight with an overnight low of 4. Cloudy tomorrow with periods of rain and cold easterly winds, snow to 200 metres inland, a high and low of 5. Rain and snow clearing on Sunday with a few sunny periods later. It will be cold though with a high of 6 and a low of 4. And that's all the news for this Friday from the South Today. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.